In spite of what anybody can say, I do not live in a fantasy world. I do not live in a fantasy. Maybe I do live in a fantasy world. Good morning, everybody. It's Stephen here for Bland Designs and the Idiot Quilter, and welcome to my weekly vlog number 392 for January the 20th, 2025. And of course, today's the big day in the States when that idiot becomes the official idiot of the entire United States. And we talked all about that yesterday on Stephen and Walter Live again. And I won't make you a promise, but because it probably will come up again throughout the next 4 years, pending on what his nibs does to the world. But yeah, we're not going to dwell on it as much because it isn't a happy thing, and we need some happiness right now, don't we? So let's dwell on happy things. And one of the things that makes me happy is my latest creation right here. This is the Tropical Leaf Split Bag. It's an In the Hoop project. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. But this is going to be a gift, and I hope it'll bring somebody great happiness because it's my hairdresser's mother wanted one of these bags, and my hairdresser reached out to me to see if I could make her one, and I said, of course I can make her one. In fact, I said, don't worry about it. I will make her one. And she wanted to pay me for it, and I said, nope, no. I do it because I enjoy doing it. I am not a business. I have the fabric. I have more fabric than I'll ever need. And since it's somebody who really admires my work and really wants one, then I know it's going to a good home. And so I'll make you one. Now, I haven't delivered it yet. I will at the end of the month when I go for my next hair appointment. And I really hope her mother likes it. And I'm pretty sure she will. So that's one project I actually got done. And yeah, we're working on, let me get the picture up here. Walter and I, as you know, have been running a series on doing this wall hanger, which is a In the Hoop project. And there are 12 tiles, and each tile takes a good hour. Some cases, there's a couple of tiles on here that take almost 2 hours to stitch out. So we've been putting most of our energy and time this week into getting this done for this Friday's coming edition of So Chatty, because on that edition we're going to show you how to put it together. Again, I'll talk about this in a little bit more detail tomorrow on the Idiot Quilter. This is just a preview of things. And yeah, we're not ready for that picture yet, so let's go back to me. Okay, so those are things I've been working on. Behind me, this way, there's another project I'm working on, which is going to be one of a pattern that I am developing that will eventually be available to anybody who wants it for free. But at the moment, I'm still developing it, and I think it's coming along quite nicely. I'm a little iffy about some colors in it, but you know, when people do it themselves, they can pick whatever colors they want. But yeah, more about that as well in the coming weeks. Okay, let's talk about YouTube channel of the week. And of course, in Las Vegas, they just had the annual Consumer Electronics Show. And on YouTube, there's just all kinds of videos about future items or things that are available now. And of course, a lot of it has been centering upon AI and robotics and things like that. So I found this particular video that talks about some of the, well, they call it the 20 best things this person saw in Vegas at CES 2025. So here it is. This week's YouTube of the week comes from the CES show for 2025. CES stands for Consumer Electronics Show. It's held every year in Las Vegas, and that's where you get to see all the latest gadgets and things in every area of electronics and some prototypes as well. This particular video clip is called 20 Best Things I Saw in Vegas at CES 2025. There are a whole lot of these videos right now on YouTube, so if you're interested in computer technology, AI technology, even robot technology in all walks of life, then you're going to want to check out some of these videos. I find it fascinating and scary too, especially with the AI robots. Oh my God, there's been so many science fiction movies about them turning on us. Is this going to come true? Who knows? But the technology is already there. So you might want to check this out. 20 best things I saw in Vegas at CES 2025. It's a good video. A lot of exciting things on the tech front coming up in the next few months and year or so. It's exciting and it's scary too. Like AI, whoa, visions of the machines turning against us, right? And some of those robots are kind of spooky. Yeah. But anyways, if you're interested in looking at that, the link for that particular video is in the show notes. But as I said, on YouTube, just do search for CES 2025 and you're going to find all kinds of reviews of what went on there. Okay, so you'll also find a link for Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen, as usual, Wednesdays, 9 a.m. Eastern Time. All are welcome to that. You will also find links to all my friends' channels, and you will find links to last week's videos as well. So let's take a look at what the weather's like today. Now, this has been the topic of conversation on the weekend because I had a pop-up sew day and Russ of Quilt Meets World had his sewing shenanigans. So it was a weekend of sewing, which was great because I got caught up on that project that's behind me. And yeah, we had a great time. But of course, the topic of discussion, probably the top topic of discussion amongst everybody, was the weather. And I know down in the southern United States, in Midwest, you guys are having Canadian weather. Yeah, you're actually getting some snow and ice and cold, and you don't know what to do with it because this is not part of your natural environment. Whereas up here, we're getting the cold too, but yesterday it was colder in the southern United States than where I live here in Ontario. Now, we live in a little microclimate area here, if that's a term for it, because we're on Lake Ontario, and Lake Ontario has a real major effect on our weather conditions. It usually keeps us a little bit warmer, believe it or not. And reduces snow amounts. But in this picture you can see here, this is what it's looking like this morning. Yes, we do have snow. I don't think we had any snow last night. Well, we may have because the sidewalk looks like there might have been a light dusting on top of what was already there. Hard to tell. But cold. Today, cold. Right now at 7 o'clock in the morning, it is minus 14 degrees C, which is roughly about 2 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah. So it is frosty. And for the week, well, today's high is minus 10, but tomorrow's high is minus 12 and a low of minus 16. And then on Wednesday, it's a low of minus 18, but a high of minus 8. So that'll feel balmy in comparison to Monday and Tuesday. And then it gets a little bit warmer, but still in the minus numbers for the rest of the week and right up to next Tuesday. So yeah, and there is some snow on Sunday, 60% chance of that. So, and according to this, with the wind chill factor, it may be minus 14 right now, but it feels like minus 19. But that is nothing compared to how cold it is out in Western Canada. And it's always colder there, and they always get more snow than we do. And I think yesterday one of my subscribers said it was minus 38. That will make a lot of brass monkeys scream, I am sure. You're going to hear two sounds, a scream and then plunk plunk. And some of you will get that reference and some of you won't, and I'm not going to explain it. No. So, yeah, it is cold. Cold, cold, cold. Okay, so what's pissing me off this week? Well, what isn't pissing everybody off? Anybody with a brain, anyways, or common sense or breathing. And of course, it's the whole thing in the United States, and today's the biggie, right? He gets in officially, so yeah, that's not good. But is this, I start with a question today on what I'm pissed off with. Is it the beginning of the end? Is there hope for us? Yeah, like I'm starting off on a very, very negative note. But then again, when I'm talking about what I'm pissed off with, and if you've been here regularly, you know it's usually something that's not all that positive with it. So Yeah. Trump takes power today. Will his threats come true? He's threatened to take over our country, Canada, take over Greenland, take over the Panama Canal. He's threatening to put huge economic tariffs on stuff coming from Canada to the United States and other countries as well. That is something to be fearful of, because that means it's not just going to hurt us as Canadians, it's going to hurt Americans as well. It's going to make all the prices go up. And what's he worried about? He doesn't seem to have any concern about money, although, does he have any? Like, I don't know, that's debatable, right? But he spends it like he does. So, and I guess now he'll be spending the government's money, which is the taxpayers' money, basically. So, and he'll spend that without any abandon. So, yeah, uh, basically, the buck does really stop here with us, the consumer. And that is not something to look forward to. Already, food prices are astronomically high. Living conditions are astronomically high. Everything is astronomically high. And it's just not getting any better. And this is not going to make it any better. So basically, Trump's going to bankrupt us all as the average man on the street, woman on the street consumer. And that's not a good thing. And that pisses me off that one man has this kind of effect and power on the rest of the world, on our lives. Something's not right here. So it is very easy for us to just give up. And I can hear it in the voices of people when we discuss this issues on a pop-up so day or on our Stephen and Walter Live or something like that. And I can hear in the background or through their typing that they are frustrated and they're just giving up. And that's not good. When you give up on something, what reason do you have to live? Really. Every day is going to be misery for you. And this one person is contributing majorly to that kind of thing. Now, there are people out there who already are suffering from mental health issues. I think there's going to be a whole lot more real soon. Because basically, if you have a sense of despair, no hope, it plays with your mind, obviously. Your mind and your emotions. So, is there hope for a better future with him? There's a glimmer. Okay? And I know that it's hard to see this little faint light down the distant tunnel. But there must be other people in the American government, in all governments in the world, that aren't crazy, that have common sense and intelligence. And hopefully those people will rise to the top and control him. Do something about him. You know, there's the expression, common sense prevails. Will it? It has to. It has to. And I think that's wherein lies the hope that we have. That there is still some common sense out there, some intelligence out there, somebody who really gives a crap about the rest of us, who's going to go in and fight for us, who's going to run interference with this a-hole. Rise up. The people, we must rise up. I'm not saying get out there and do violent rioting, but there must be something more we can do. And not just throw our hands in the air and go, well, whatever, we're screwed. No. And we also have to look at the history of the world. The world is not a nice place, let's face it. But we are survivors. We've gotten this far. We've had tyrants in the past. We've had your Genghis Khan. We've had your Chinese emperors. We've had Hitler. We've had Putin and the ones that came before him. We have had lots of tyrants, lots of dictators. And yes, at the time that they existed, it was not good. It was not a good time. It was not a party. But we did survive. And I think if there is any hope at all, that hope has to be in each of us, to think that, well, in the immortal words of Annie, the sun comes out tomorrow. Yeah, it's got to. And I think in that there is hope. Hope that we will get through this one way or the other. We are survivors. And not to give in to despair. So, I don't know. Do we know what's going to happen? No. Hoping that a lot of his threats are like a 5-year-old kid saying, I'm going to run away from home and then you'll all be sorry. Well, I say, Trump, run away from home. We won't be sorry. Okay, let's go on to cheerier topics. And one of the things that brings me great joy, are my grow lights and my plants. And I want to show you something that's giving me a lot of a lot of hope. My pepper plants. I should say Walter's pepper plants, because really Walter's the one that looks after these. But they're doing really well. You've seen pictures of these before. However, I want to point out something. See these flowers? Well, in these flowers, it's hard in this picture to see. There are tiny, tiny, itty bitty, teeny weeny peppers. Here's a better picture. There's a pepper, a couple of peppers. Now, there's tiny. These are about an inch in size, but they're looking good. So that means they're coming along. And we've got quite a few, plants. Where's that other picture? There it is. We've got quite a few pepper plants. So at the price of peppers, in a grocery store, we were talking about that on the weekend with some people on the pop-up sow day. A green pepper here is can be anywhere between $3.99 and $4.99 a kilogram. So that's basically about $2.50 to $2.99 a pound. So yeah, and they keep going up in price. So growing our own, this is better than gold. It really is, because we eat a lot of peppers. We put peppers in everything. So I'm really happy that we have right here baby peppers. Hope for the future. In another month or so time, we may be able to pick our first pepper off our plants. And there'll be more of them coming. And I said to Walter, we always plant peppers in the summertime out in our canister garden on our deck. I said to him, we can still do that, but I think if this is working out, we should keep it going. Get more seeds started as these plants, produce their peppers and didn't die off, replace them with new ones, and just keep this perpetually going, because they're doing well. Peppers and lettuce. We seem to do well on peppers and lettuce. Although right now our lettuce isn't looking too good, but Walter cleaned up a lot of things that were going bad, basically. Problem with lettuce, when you grow it, it all comes on at once. You can't keep up with eating it. So he cleaned those up a bit, and we'll plant some more and try to make more of a conscious effort of, harvesting it. We need to get into some kind of a cycle. One pot has mature lettuce in it. That's what we're eating. But while we're eating that, we're starting in another pot, seedlings, the seeds, and in another pot, they're a little bigger, like a progression that goes across. I have to talk to him about that and see what we can work out with it all. But anyways, it brings me joy to see green stuff like that, especially in this kind of weather. Okay, so what else brings me joy? Well, new products bring me joy. So if I can find what I wanted to show you here, which is right down here. There we go. I bought a few things, as I do. And of course, from Amazon. Now, this won't be too exciting for those of you who do not have 3D printers, but it excites me. I had a little problem with one of my printers the other day. It was basically I had it wasn't spewing forth filament, and I figured, okay, time to replace the nozzle. So I did. I replaced the hot end. I always have nozzles, lots of them, spares, because those are the one thing that will wear out on your 3D printer on a regular basis. And I replaced that, and it was working fine. But then the filament sensor kept going off and stopping the machine. And basically, the filament sensor is a little box that the filament goes through, and when you run out of filament, it shuts the machine, well, stops the machine from continuing on with the project. And so you put in new filament, and it carries on where it left off. But the filament sensor was shutting the machine down even though there was filament going through it. And I thought, there's probably something inside the little box. Now, I've taken one of them apart before. They're a very simple little device. And sometimes you get filament dust in them, and that just stops it from doing its thing. So I opened it up, and I looked inside, and I didn't see any dust and whatnot. But I did have a spare filament sensor, so excuse me, I installed it and away it went. The other one, though, I have taken apart and cleaned up and put back together, and it's sitting as a spare. But I thought, just in case that didn't work, I'd buy another one. So I did, and so you can see that right here. This is the filament sensor. Now, it came with an extra part. It came with this long bar, which is basically for holding your filament. And I don't know why it came with that, because the filament sensor does attach to it, but I don't need it. But anyways, I'll have a spare part of that because it didn't cost me any more extra for that in the kit. And it was the only one I could get actually for my particular printer. So like it came to about $24, so $25. So I've got a spare one of those. I ordered, while I was on there, I decided I'd also order some more of those connector clips for, your wires that go into a circuit board. Now, if you remember, I did buy, and you probably don't remember because it's probably not that important to most of you. I realize that, but just indulge me, please. I bought a package that's very much like this before, and these kind of things. But the ones I bought had little metal bars in them, like for the plugs. I just needed the ones that are empty. So apparently there are 2 kits you can buy. And so now I bought this one because it's got a variety of these, and they don't have any little wires in them, and this is fine for in the future. I have more than I will ever need, but that's the way they came. It's a variety pack. So yeah, that's a thing. Okay, and I also bought a spare, actually I bought 2 of them, spare hot ends for my printers. Because they're another thing on your 3D printer that over time will burn out. They're not difficult to replace, and they're not that expensive. I think they were, well, it says here they were $30 a piece. And so, yeah, I bought a couple of them. I like to have spare parts. Now, you may be wondering what's happening with, there's all my printers right there. And you may be wondering what's happening with the new printer that I've ordered. Well, at the moment, it's still on order. They haven't shipped them yet. They told me that once it gets shipped, I will get an email telling me that it is coming. And I didn't expect it yet anyways, because they did say they would not be shipping them until the end of the month. So we're not at the end of the month yet. But I'm really getting excited about getting this new machine. And yeah, I will definitely be showing you that when it arrives. Okay, so that also takes me to, can I print this 3D effing thing? Well, I've been printing a lot of things. And let me just get out of this and go back into here. And I will show you what I have been printing. Just bear with me. I had this on the screen before, and then of course I dumped it out. Shoot. Okay, talk amongst yourselves. Okay, here we go. Let's get this where it's supposed to go. Computer technology is wonderful if you know how to use it. And I don't. Okay. Uh, where am I here? I'm not seeing anything. Okay, I have to edit this little part out. There. Okay, got it. All right. So, I've been making a lot of these lately. These are my, I guess you could call them a key ring with a gnome on them. Has my business card on it and also has a little pair of scissors. These are things I'm putting together to give to people at the next retreat I'm at, and also to give to the in-person guild talk that I'll be giving in March. I'm doing two guild talks. One in the end of February. That was supposed to be the end of this month, but they were double booked. They put me onto February. That's fine. And then but that one's on Zoom. The next one, the one in March, is an actual in-person one, and I thought it'd be nice to give all the people there one of these. So just for fun, promotional products. Yeah, even though I'm not in business. And there's just another shot of what it looks like when they're sitting up. Now, this guy, this dragon, he was cute. He didn't come out as well as I would hoped. There were a lot of supports on him. I see I've got a couple of filament hairs too on the top of him that when I took the picture, I hadn't gotten rid of yet. I did break off his leg. There's a little join right here. I glued it back on. But he's a cute little guy. And he's in that multicolored filament. This is a flying saucer. And this is kind of interesting because you use a tea light in it. And so the top comes off, the tea light goes in upside down, a battery operated tea light, and then you just turn on the switch, put the top back on, and it looks like it's glowing, woo, kind of a thing. Of course, I made a bunch of more critters here. Articulated snakes and lizards and whatnot. They're all the ones that are called print in place. They come right off of the build plate exactly as you see them here, and they all wiggle around and whatnot. I love these kind of things. I don't know why, but I do. And then I found this little guy way back here in the back. It's called Toothless. If you remember the movie How to Train a Dragon, he was the principal dragon in it, Toothless, and he's a cute little guy. I tried to make him bigger, and that's when I discovered I had a problem with the one printer. In fact, it was going to take a day and a half to print him much, much bigger, like about 300% bigger than he is now. And I had this really cool filament, and it was turning out really nice. And yeah, then I had some problems. And needless to say, he was headless when I made him. And I tried to fix that problem. Didn't work. So I gave up. I don't know if I'll try that again or not. Maybe I will. And then I saw this one of the cat with the kittens. I thought that was cute. So I had to make that, right? Of course I did. But there's more. Okay, so you've seen the Pegasus before, but these are tiny Pegasus. These are about a quarter of the size of the original design. And I just think they're cute at that design. And yeah, I got a bunch of those. Again, I don't know what I'm doing with all these things. I got that idea about the elementary school. I keep telling you that, and I haven't done anything about it yet. I got to get my rear end in gear. And these were too precious. Everybody's making those wobbles, woobles, whatever they're called, the crochet kits that make the cute little characters that are about $30 on Amazon or something like that. Well, here's the 3D printed version of these. These look like they're knit or crocheted, and especially the penguin. I love the little penguin. He turned out really cute. But the little duck and the little elephant, they're fun. They're fun. I think a kid would really like these. 5 or 6 year old, I'm sure they would have a thrill with these. But yeah, so I had to make a bunch of those. And then there's more. Okay, I made this skeleton print in place articulated creature that's hanging out of that pillar. That pillar is a flower pot. That one took over a day to make. It's a fairly good size, and later today I'm hoping to get one of my dendrums that I'm rooting planted in that. So that was kind of fun. Used a lot of filament for that one. It's very sturdy. This thing is a fidget toy. It looks like a 4-leaf clover, and it goes in and goes out and goes all around, kind of a deal. I just wanted to see if my printers could handle it, and they did. did a brilliant, beautiful job of it. Do I have anything more? No, I do not. That's so I was busy boy this week with the printers doing their thing. So now I need to reevaluate what I'm doing with the 3D printer. What can I make next that's different, unique? Um, I am still looking into the possibility of possibly having a draw once a month on Stephen and Walter Live for a box of goodies of my 3D printed things. Um, so, yeah, stay tuned for an announcement about that coming soon. Okay, I think that's all I want to show you in the 3D printing. Yeah, so what's next? Well, old clips from the past. And this one is about bed bugs. We thought we had bed bugs. When we came home from one of our trips a few years ago, we thought there was a problem with bed bugs. So this is a segment that we talked about on one of the very first Stephen and Walter Live. So I'm calling this little clip the bed bug clip. Now let's back up here. About a week ago, actually a week ago, what, this last Friday? Last Thursday. A few days even before that, I had some little bites down around my ankles, my feet kind of a thing. But that's not unusual for me in the summer because we have a patio underneath our deck and we live next to a forest. So we have all kinds of bugs and spiders and things like that all the time. And in the summer, my basic outfit is usually shorts and sandals. So I go around barefoot a lot. Walter's usually wearing long pants on that because he gets cold easily. And, I had these little bites on me, but I didn't really think much of them. And then Thursday night, it was late Thursday night, might have been almost Friday morning because he's a night hawk, I'm not. I wake up and I find him kneeling at the foot of the bed with his camera, with his cell phone, and he's taking a picture. And I go, "What are you taking a picture of?" He goes, "Never mind." When he says that, don't pursue it any further. He doesn't want to talk about it. And I just thought it was kind of weird, and I just rolled over and went back to sleep. So the next day, we're talking, and he'd already mentioned that he had some what looked like bites up on his side, on thigh, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And on your
and all the way down my legs and stuff like that. And my arm.
And we both looked at each other and went, "Oh my God, have we got bed bugs?" Now, bed bugs is a scary kind of thing, okay? First of all, there's a myth. This is where the education part comes in. There is a myth that the only people that have a problem with bed bugs are people who live in filth, who are not very clean, who do not keep their house very clean. We're not those people. We're very, very picky about cleanliness and especially about our house as well. Mm-hmm. So that's a myth. But there have been reports that bed bugs in North America are on the rise. And there's been lots of things on TV, on news programs and stuff, talking about being careful when you go into any hotel, whether it's a 5-star or a 2-star, it doesn't matter. Bed bugs aren't picky. And they talk about don't put your suitcase on the floor when you walk in. Don't put it on the bed. Put it someplace up high and things like that. And they say that because you can take them then home with you. And they're very difficult to get rid of. So we're thinking, where have we been? And of course, he was taking pictures because he thought maybe he could spot them on the side of the bed and we could show them to the pest control people or whatever. We had been a few weeks before in Kingston, and we had stayed in a student residence at the college that's there. And didn't really think much about it. Thought, oh God, maybe we picked them up there and brought them home with us. But we couldn't find any traces. We looked high and low for telltale marks. Walter read everything that's ever been written about bed bugs on the internet, as he always does, very thorough. And what they were saying, the first thing he did was we stripped the bed, put everything in plastic bags before we took them out of the room, took them downstairs to the laundry room, washed everything in the highest temperature that we possibly could, cooked everything in the dryer, left our bedspread, the duvet, things like that, all sealed up in plastic afterwards as well. We didn't put them back on the bed. We called the pest control. Well, We called them on the Friday. They couldn't come to us. As soon as they could get to us, it was Wednesday of this week. In the meantime, it tells you don't move to another location in your house, like to sleep. Don't sleep on a couch. Don't sleep in a spare bedroom, because they will follow you and they will infest that room. Well, I'm thinking this is great. We're going to bed at night and becoming a living smorgasbord for these things. But we never found any. He went over to the pest control place, got this plug-in thing that looks like a power bar. It actually can be used as a power bar, but apparently it's got a pad in it that and it heats up a little bit, and it sends out this pheromone scent that attracts them, and they get stuck in this plastic. The only thing we caught was a little tiny thing, but we didn't know whether that was a bed bug or not. So finally, they came, they inspected. They were really good at the inspection. Oh yeah, and Walter went out and he bought encasements for the pillows to start with, that you're basically putting your pillow in a baggie that is hermetically sealed, kind of a thing. And I don't know if that's to keep them in or keep them out, whatever.
It's to keep, if they're in, it keeps them in. If they're, but the pillows, so we ran through the dryer, so they should be okay. So
anyways, the inspector came out. He was very, very thorough, and he knew what he was talking about. And we pulled the mattress, the box spring off the bed. He checked into the woodwork everywhere. He says, I had not find a trace. And I said, what about this thing caught in the trap? And he says, that's not a bed bug. He says, that's a little tiny common beetle.
Well, and actually, what actually did happen before the pest control guy showed up, after I'd stripped all the bedding off and run it through the washer and dryer and everything, it's like our bites stopped at that point in time.
Yeah, we didn't have any
getting
more
bit, but we still decided to have the pest guy come anyway, just to have a look, because you never know. I didn't know whether I had gotten the stuff or whether they were hiding around somewhere else in the bed or whatever. So, but he did suggest that we get covers for the mattress and the box spring.
These encasements, they call them.
Just in case. And if you did end up having a problem, then you'd know right away, because the encasements don't allow them anywhere to hide. So that's what we did.
After he left. But he also said, where else do you sit? Or that. So we took him to all the spots where we spend most of our time. And he checked those out thoroughly, and he says, I cannot find a trace of a bed bug. And he also said, and Ian, I noticed, said here, they are micro-sized, you will not see them. That guy told us, though, you'll see their droppings. And he said, there'll be little black specks. And he said, you can know that they're droppings as opposed to a little piece of fuzz. If you put your finger on it and rub it across it and it smears, then that's an indication.
Well, actually, the bed bugs are not microscopic. When I went to the pest control place, they showed me them, dead ones in a sample thing, and even the offspring you can actually see. They're very small. An adult bed bug is actually the size of an apple seed, so they are not invisible.
And if you have like white mattress, which we do, and white box springs and that, they're much more easier to see, I guess. But anyways, this guy said, you do not have bed bugs. And we're trying to figure out, well, where are these bites coming from? And he says he wasn't sure. He did see some of them on Walter's arm. He says, well, they do look like bed bug bites, because I guess they're in clusters.
Yeah, supposedly they go in clusters, but it could have been that it was such a new, I don't know, such a new, I hope that we got all, if we did have them, I hope we got all of them.
Well, but we've got the trap underneath the bed, which is where you're supposed to put it. We've got the encasements now on the box springs and on the mattress and on the pillows. Everything has been thoroughly washed, heated, the whole bit. And I still think what we actually had were, because I've killed a few of them in the house, it's been bad this summer, tiny little spiders. And the marks that I had looked more like spider bites. I've had spider bites before. So I don't know. But we're monitoring the situation. But he's pretty much assured us that we do not have bed bugs. And it only has cost us to discover all of this about $400. Because $150 for the inspection, the encasements for the mattress and the box springs were about almost $200. The pillow ones were another $50-some with that. So yeah, it was an adventure. And but I'm telling you, you get really paranoid in the night thinking,
Well, actually, now that I've read all this literature on it, I am really going to be careful when we bring stuff back from a trip because you don't want those things.
yeah. Well, Ian says they must be USA bugs. And Lindsay's laughing at that. And oh, hello, is it Malaya or Malia from Finland? She says happy retirement, Walter. I'm just catching
Thank
up
you.
on the comments that are here. But anyways, people, I wanted to bring it up because it is a common problem, at least in North America now, and I'm sure all around the world. And people are embarrassed to talk about this because the old wives' tale was you were filthy pigs if you had bed bugs. That anybody can get bed bugs, and they're not that hard to get, but they aren't that easy to get rid of. So we're monitoring the situation. We're doing everything that the pest control guys told us. He even left us these sticky pads to put around in certain areas of the house. He said they'll catch anything. They go to those, they're attracted to it, and they get stuck in it. So he said you're being find spiders or whatever in there as well. But he says just as added assurance. But he says I'm pretty sure you do not have bed bugs. And
Well,
he's done a lot
plus
of it.
on his report, he put very clean house at the bottom.
Yeah, I put that. I thought that was kind of thing. Yes, our house is very clean. But like I said, that's an old wives' tale. They're not attracted to dirt. They're attracted to humans, to blood. They're a parasite. So, isn't that cherry? Doesn't everybody love that? So, okay, let's see. So next week on Blast from the Past with Stephen and Walter Live, we're going to have a house tour and a stained glass tour. Basically, it's more of a tour of the stained glass that we have throughout this house that Walter created, because before Walter was making bags and shirts and things like that, he was doing stained glass. So stay tuned for that on next week's vlog. All right, so events in the past week. Well, we had a pop-up sew day, as I've already said. Everybody seemed to have a good time. I had a good time. Got a lot of things done. Enjoyed it a lot. And we enjoyed it so much, we just had to carry over the excitement onto Russ's on Sunday, which is Russ's Sewing Shenanigans Day. So it was a weekend of getting caught up on your sewing projects between the two of us. And that was the highlight, really, of the week. And so what's coming up this week? Well, we need a new thing. We need a new mattress. So Walter's been doing the research, and maybe sometime this week we're going out mattress shopping. Mattresses are things that are not easy to buy because they're expensive and there's so many to choose from. Which one is the best fit for you? But we figured out that the mattress we have right now, we've had for over 20 years. And they say the average lifetime of a mattress is 7 to 10 years. Might explain why I wake up in the morning a little sore. And so it's time. So, yep, that's on our radar for this week, doing some mattress shopping. What an exciting life, really. All this and all, just, I'm beside myself in excitement. Okay, before I get too much beside myself, I think it's time to sign off. So thank you for joining me today on this edition of my blog. And tomorrow's Idiot Quilter, Wednesday, Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen, Friday, So Chatty, where we will be finishing up the Kindred Creatures wall hanging, and then Stephen and Walter Live on Sunday. Your weekly programming, all here. Okay, thanks for joining me. Have a great week. Bye for now.